Well, hello, everybody. It's Del Shores.
And I'm Emerson Collins, and this is the Del and Emerson Show.
Straight talk.
But real gay. Hi, Del Shores.
Hello, and hello, everybody. Thank you
Welcome.
for giving us a reason to get dressed.
And shower and shave. And y'all, I will say, I even cleaned up my eyebrows today.
Did you really?
Yes, you know why? It's been bothering me of late that in photos and sometimes on video, my eyebrows disappear, like they're a little thinner as I approach gay old age, mid-30s. So I cleaned them up underneath to see if it would make them look more prominent.
Oh, nice. Well, I just have this, I have that thing that I just shave over them because as you get older, they just start like every hair this hair starts going. And then every other hair, just starts sprouting out of your ears and your nose and your eyebrows get all thick and bushy. Remember that time we were, and I put the wrong thing on. What's that called? That little thing that you put on the end of it. And I shaved off one. I'm having a hard time hearing you. I shaved off half of, a full eyebrow, basically. I just,
it was a look. It was a strong choice. I hope everybody else is good, fine, or passable enough on this Tuesday. We do have a great show planned. Grammys, Oscar noms, the Pope, a church funds wasted, Joe Exotic book, and an Amazon book ban, Milo's new conversion clinic, space sperm, professional nudes, a drag legends cruise, and more. Da-da-da.
Yes.
I was thinking about what you just said. I used to joke every once in a while when I threatened to do stand-up, because, it terrifies Blake that I might someday actually try to do it. One of my bits is about, they tell you lots of things growing up. Your hair is going to fall out. It's going to turn gray. It's going to grow out of your nose and your ears. You know what they don't tell you about? Great pubes.
Oh, great pubes. I
found one and I screamed and they must have heard it in Oklahoma.
You were like Samantha on Sex and the City. Remember when she found a great pube and she dyed it red?
But here's how my bit was going to go in my stand-up. Said, now look, a gray pube, and it's all fine and good. Remember when that movie came, when all those leaks happened from Sony and Amy, what's her name, that ran Sony, they found that she'd been looking for hair dye for your nether regions. Said, well, I get it. Because remember when Obama became president, he had a full hair, had a black hair, and at the end, it was all salt and pepper. People talked about how it aged him. Well, my dick looks like it was president for 16 years.
Look, you can look at the side of my, I noticed because I'm blonde, but I'm getting gray here on the sides of my
shores. That was the punchline of that story. And you were just waiting for your turn to talk. Was it?
I did.
Or not?
Well,
everybody else, is that an amusing joke?
It is.
Somebody else give me some validation.
They were laughing. I heard them. It threw me off because I heard them all laughing, all the listeners around me.
Wait, I heard you in Tulsa, made Shadowbark run for cover. Anyway, I was grooming was the point of all of that for y'all.
Well, you look very groomed and presentable. You look presentable, I have to say.
I'll do my best. Please tell everybody what you told me yesterday before we get into the news about your grocery delivery.
Okay, well, so yesterday, Emerson and I meet every day at 11 o'clock to write. And so yesterday I texted and I said, I'm late, I'm running late. And when he came on the FaceTime, I said, it's because I got my order for imperfect foods. And he's like, what? But I want to know does anybody else order from Imperfect Foods? Now I brought some samples. Their thing is it's a lot cheaper and they deliver right to your door in ice and everything, but they're not perfect, but they're organic. I mean, not everything's organic, but you can order organic, but you might get an avocado like that looks really good on this side and it's fine in the inside, but it has just a little, a little something. And, you might get a carrot that has Peyronie's disease. Or you might get a Mineola that has a little
Nipple.
dimple. It has a little dimple.
It has
Or
a
you
dimple
might get
and
a
the nipple.
giant squash. It's like,
Now, you got to be careful getting that kind of vegetable delivered in the pandemic because people might try to sit on it instead of eat it.
but my ex-wife told me about it and I love it. And they have meats and I get obsessed. You can get just a whole lot for about $60.
Now, I honestly worry about getting meat from imperfect foods. What exactly is imperfect about that?
Well, it's all inspected. You just need to, that's sort of like buying a meat at the Dollar General.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Because like vegetables, I get, they're deformed. They look a little unique, so to speak. But meat,
does anybody else? No, but most of them are just fine. I mean, they don't look. I picked out the sort of imperfect. I think maybe it's a California thing. Oh, they have
America
imperfect
has.
food. Well,
I'm putting a link in the chat.
Yeah, there's a link there. I said, well, if we're gonna plug it, get me $20 off my next order, and y'all get $20 off. So
please, some of y'all order imperfect foods and then describe to us what was in the box when you get it.
I want about 100 of you, and then I just suddenly have a credit for $200. I'll go crazy, y'all. I might even order the dates.
Dates? An imperfect date, like any of us have ever been on.
Well, look, Emerson, here's the truth. I mean, I like flaws. I like flawed characters. And so I just feel like that it's the best thing because, this squash, it cannot make it at Vaughn's or HEB's. It's not, it's a castaway. It's a castaway.
John said, I like perfect meat. Does that make me a slut? No, it makes you have high standards. Lord, when I was dating and hooking up on the apps, I was into a lot of imperfect meat. You know what was perfect meat? Available.
Yes. Well, it's like I got in trouble because I did this whole stand-up about this guy I dated, and then once we finally had sex, he kept delaying. He had Peyronie's disease, and I just said, I don't give a fuck, I don't care. You just disclose it. Don't let me get down there and find something that I have to deal with. But I don't have any problem with it. I'll figure it out.
Good. All right. What we do here is the LGBTQ news and nonsense. Does anybody watch the Grammys? What'd you think? Did you watch? I know
I watched it. I thought, WAP. Yeah. Celebrate your bodies.
Okay. You know what I loved about the Wet Ass Pussy performance? It was like Wet Ass Pussy, the musical. I mean, that giant bed, that gorgeous giant stiletto, the choreography. I mean, the creative direction, choreography, and costume changes. That bodysuit that Megan Thee Stallion was in looked so expensive. I just cheered and applauded.
Houston girl. And I loved her adoration for Beyonce.
Her inability to stop fangirling for Beyonce while standing beside her was one of the cutest things I've ever seen.
It's like giving her basically handing her record or her tie. I guess it was a tie, but I got it.
She was featured. They were on the song together.
No, I know. But in a way, I mean, she said, I reached out to her for this song. You know what I mean? I reached out and I couldn't believe she said yes. So it was like Megan was instrumental in her winning her 28th or 27th Grammy Award.
28th, and then like on from there.
Yeah, then she won another.
What Ken said right here, I'm really enjoying these low-key award shows. I'm loving what it does to the artist to not have a giant crowd. Because everyone's intimate, it makes people more relaxed. It feels like they're more open, because not every public artist is a social extrovert creature. I thought this back at the VMAs as well. Like I fell in love with Post Malone at that show because he was so adorable and adorkable. And there's something really lovely.
Is that the one with all the tattoos on his face?
Yes. Yeah. And I loved the intro packages about all the record of the year nominees. Because if you didn't know their music, learning about them was really fun. The Black Pumas package where he talked about being a busker in Santa Monica. Like I didn't know that.
I love that story.
Like getting backstories.
6 years ago. And what a crazy voice. I mean, his voice is insane.
Yeah. Well, it's so fun. It's blues, folk, all this different stuff.
I fell in love with him.
Yes. The John said it was long. Bruce Wainwright in the Re-Show was fabulous. Eric, I like COVID award shows better. I really am doing that too. I know. Blue Ivy, Beyonce's daughter, winning a Grammy. She's 9 years old. Y'all, we have to not compare ourselves to each other's journeys.
Well, especially when your mama is Beyonce. I think there's a little advantage. You got a little leg up on the Grammy.
On the way in. Other things I loved from my notes. Taylor Swift's performance on the rooftop, climbing down inside. Her set looked exactly like the ASMR videos I keep putting on the TV to calm my anxiety. I was like, oh, I could just put this on mute and watch it for hours on end.
Well, I was watching. I went over and watched with my friend Beverly, and I was texting Rebecca, my daughter Rebecca, because she introduced me to Folklore, and I became obsessed with that album. So we were like every single time she would lose, we were going no, because she didn't have enough things. But then she did win Album of the Year, and so we were excited about that.
She's working out all right for Miss Swift. I also loved Bruno Mars doing Little Richard. I was like, make that movie. Like, just the iconic nature of that, embodying it and not doing a total imitation. And then I got to really thinking too, that Lil Baby, the performance they did in the street, that was a fully Black Lives Matter music video live, like the number of sets, the complicated nature of that. And thinking about how many artists that were recognized, her, Beyonce, Megan Thee Stallion, what she talked about, how many artists making commentary music last year, protest music, Mickey Guiton, the country artist, the Black country artist, the female
yeah.
How many of them were making music about what we were going through last year, and seeing that recognized for the importance of how music contributes to our cultural conversation.
Well, I hope that Mickey actually gets some airplay now. I mean, she's had sort of marginal success. It's never quite. Her voice is crazy, and I'm a big country fan, and I was introduced to her once again by my daughter Rebecca, and I just love her, and I loved that performance, and she looked fabulous. And here's another thing I want to say. I was on Facebook today. I went down a little bit of rabbit hole. Even a friend of mine was posting like how distasteful the WAP video, the WAP on the Grammys and blah blah blah. And I just wanted to say, I never saw anybody complaining about these bro country videos that sexualize these women, and here women are claiming their power, that women are claiming their sexuality, in control of their sexuality, not expecting some man to, snatch them up or whatever. And I loved it. And I just said, come on.
Yeah. Also, a flawlessly crafted, entertaining performance. And that is the goal. And yes, when they do it themselves, it's a problem. When it's a woman with a tied up under the tits over the hood of a car, for some man's background on Car and Mechanic magazine or whatever.
Right, exactly.
It's like when it's not for the male gaze, when it's for her own celebration, then it's a problem because they feel excluded.
Yeah, and I think that people should be very, very careful in posting anti women and anti-women of color. I mean, it's just it irritated me.
Old tired misogyny
irritated me,
And of course, your dear friend Brandy Clark looked fantastic.
Yeah, I wanted her to win, but Miranda got that one. It sometimes doesn't go the way I want it. That's just the
often it rarely goes
most of the time.
All right, we also had yesterday, God, some days feel like they last a year, and so it was just yesterday morning they announced the Oscar nominations. I feel like it was 2 months ago. Mank leads with 10 nominations. Exciting moments. For the first time ever, 2 female directors nominated, with Chloe Zhao being the first Asian woman nominated for Nomadland, and Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Women. Did you have exciting things?
Well, I'd seen everything, all the Best Picture nominees except for Mank, and I'm going to watch that tonight. I've been putting it off for some reason. I think because the length. But
you've got so many places to be.
Yes, I've just got so much to do. I
It's
mean, I
wait,
have the
it's wait.
voice. I have the voice coming. The voice is happening right now.
You do have, it is funny though. People keep making these jokes and it's so true. It's like, oh, a 2 hour and 15-minute movie. I don't know, but I sure will watch 5 episodes of a television show in a row without
Well,
stopping.
here's the difference, and I'm going to defend myself. With a TV show,
No
it's
one's
an hour
attacking you.
commitment, and if you go to sleep, you rewind it, and it's no big. For me, I just feel like I can't fall asleep. That's my problem. I've become an old man falling asleep on the sofa.
Well, Kelly said start slow, but hang with it.
All right, I'll do that. I do have to say one thing that
Hey, y'all, you could Google all of these. There's some on Netflix, some on Hulu, all different places. Just put in the title what you're looking for.
As I always say to Rob, I love you, Rob. That's a Google question. Someone sent me like some today. They asked me, where was the Babylon filmed on Queer as Folk? And I said, you know what? I'm going to have to Google this. And then I'm thinking, why didn't they Google it? I found the answer. No, I wanted to say one thing about, I love these female directors. I just love that they're celebrating them. And I did not know that Emerald was Camilla on The Crown.
I did not realize that either till this very second that you said it.
She is Camilla on The Crown.
Because I keep seeing her in real life only with the blonde hair.
Yes. So isn't that crazy?
I mean, an impressively accomplished.
It was like, you know, The Crown just keeps surprising me with these characters, and then suddenly they appear somewhere else. And of course, we have the amazing performance of what's her name? Oh God.
Well, you're gonna have to narrow that down.
I know. She played Margaret. I'm going. Yeah, she was so great too. There's a lot of great nominees. Viola Davis in.
Well, I told y'all I haven't watched almost all of them because I can't. We watched Minority the other night, and it is a beautiful Americana film that is really wonderful, and both of them being nominated is so appropriate. And I loved it because I feel like it's an interesting thing to see how people respond to that movie, because it's a specifically American story, an American immigrant story, but it's told primarily in Korean because of the immigrant nature of the story, which goes to that Golden Globes thing about, oh, they put it in the foreign film category. And I watched it and thought there's nothing more American than watching people who arrived in our country working to build a life and struggling is the core of the whole American dream spirit. And American. And if you look at that and don't think that's an American story, that's racist.
Well, yeah, and so appropriate for our times, Emerson. That's what I love about Minari. And I'm glad you watched that. Okay, so what's your next one? I want to know what do you think I got to watch now?
Oh, I don't know. I can't. Like, not. They're so heavy. All the rest. The only other thing I was going to add, you know, in representation, the story of our show, both Andra Day and Viola Davis are nominated for playing bisexual characters. There's 3 Black men in the supporting category with Daniel Kaluuya, Lakeith Stanfield, and Leslie Odom Jr. So a good bit of diverse kinds of representation in that ongoing conversation.
Yes. All right. Well, onward and forward. Yesterday, we've got Pope news. The Vatican's office issued a formal response to a question about whether Catholic clergy have the authority to bless same-sex unions. And then they sent out this 2-page explanation. They couldn't just say, well, we're still bigots. It was approved by the Pope, boiled down to no, they can't. God cannot bless sin. So, the note made a distinction between the welcoming and blessing of gay people, which it upholds, and the blessing of union, which it does not obviously uphold. This is a quote: "The presence of such relationships of positive elements, which are in themselves to be valued and appreciated, cannot justify these relationships and render them legitimate objects of the ecclesial blessing, since the positive elements exist within the context of a union not ordered to the Creator's plan." Oh my God, I'm so exhausted from that rhetoric. And then it continued, "God does not and cannot bless sin. He blesses sinful men and sinful man so that he may recognize that he is a part of the love and allow himself to be," are you ready? "Changed by him. So Sister Simone Campbell, executive director of Network Lobby for Catholic Social Justice, said she was relieved the Vatican statement wasn't worse. She said she interpreted the statement as saying, you can bless the individuals, you just can't bless the contract. So it's possible you could have a ritual where the individuals get blessed to be their committed selves. So I just kept thinking, you know, that line that I wrote, to question the creator, you question the creation, you question the creator, and the change, no, just bullshit, you know. But
I love that she's looking for a workaround, like the degree of silver lining, you know, and it's a reminder, because for all those, oh, the Pope's this, when he was a cardinal, he was, you know, more supportive and all of that, like, it is what it is. So thoughts
it's
with
like
Catholic
this, you know,
LGBTQ people, I'm gonna finish this sentence, Catholic LGBTQ people, and the struggle of that uphill battle against 2,000 years of Vatican doctrine.
Yeah. So
it's just hard. What were you gonna say?
I don't know. Let's continue.
Did I lose you?
I think people know our feelings about this.
Yeah.
I know what I was going to say, Emerson. It was like, it's almost like you go, you know, that at least they don't want to stone them. You know, at least we stop there.
When you are looking to the darkest corner of the cloud for the tiniest sliver of that silver lining.
Yeah.
That we have made it past the stoning.
We're not taking them out to the gates of the city anymore and stoning them to death. We've made some progress, y'all.
Yes. Judy said they can all just pope off. Similarly, here at home, the Equality Act, we've talked about the uphill battle the Equality Act has to 60 votes. There's new info on how difficult. We talked about Susan Collins and her sponsoring the Equality Act previously and then not sponsoring it this time. And she has now stated more specifically that she wants guaranteed federal funding for Christian nonprofits, even if they break anti-discrimination laws. Further study on trans girls and women in sports. Some more language to protect gender-segregated homeless and domestic violence shelters. You voted for that Tuberville Amendment a while back. So this is a really intense uphill battle that we are going to have on getting the Equality Act through the Senate. And there are a lot of people, Romney and others, who want significant carve out for religious organizations, which of course is one of the big places that it's the point of the Equality Act in the first place. Stop discriminating because of your religion.
So Emerson, you're smart. Is it a possibility that we're going to get rid of the filibuster? Or do you think that's possible?
Well, it's the only way to a bunch of legislation that we want to achieve, right? Because anything that needs 60 votes, there is not going to be 9 or 10 Republicans on board for basically anything. No Republican's going to want to be the first one to break Mitch McConnell's leadership and vote in support of any Democratic legislation. So the very real conversation is going to be about, can we get rid of the filibuster and accept what that means for future minority positions when we're in the minority ship, which inevitably will occur down the road. But at this point, it's a get rid of it or you can't do anything, and you lose the progressives who didn't want to support Biden in the first place, that were promised that we would achieve things on these issues in exchange for the big tent supporting a moderate Democratic candidate. We will lose more elections for letting down our own supporters than risk the dangers of future minority.
Yeah. Well, I think majority rules. I just think it should be. I really do. So I think that they need to eliminate it, and they can. I feel like, from what I've heard, they can't eliminate it if they get the 50. If they get the majority, they can eliminate the. But they're worried about that. What's his name from Virginia?
Manchin.
Yeah.
Yep, Manchin.
So anyway, back to church news. Glenn Yothers, no relation to Tina, served. I hope that someone gets that reference.
I'm sure more than a few here.
Served as the treasurer. Well, I don't know that for sure. I just said that he may be Uncle Glenn to Tina.
You tell it and I'll find out.
Yes, someone Google that, please. Served as the treasurer for the St. Paul Lutheran Church in rural Pennsylvania. Their website says they support religious freedom, but they oppose same-sex marriage and sex outside of marriage and marriages. Last week, he was charged. This is such a great story. He was charged with stealing $150,000 from church bank accounts over 4 years, just parceled it out. The utilities were shut off and the church almost closed because he wasn't paying the bills and he was writing checks to himself. Now, he said he was paying the church bills from his personal account and just paying himself back when the church was low on funds. Authorities discovered that many payments, now this is where it gets real good, he made using his church debit card to a website called Flirt for Free, which is interesting because obviously if you're using a debit card, Flirt for Free is
not free.
It's not accurate. It features interactive cam rooms with the hottest girls from around the world, from porn stars to amateur to fetish models. Our cam girls are always ready to play. Court documents say that Yothers stated he got to know some of these people well enough and he was trying to help them.
That all put her through culinary school.
It was a ministry, Emerson. It was it was internet ministry. Yes. He was going in there and saving those porn stars to the Lord. He told police he had only the best intentions and said he got very lonely during the day while his wife was at work. Oh, well, if he is related to Tina, she is going to disown him.
I was about to say that family reunion is going to be awkward. I mean, $150,000. Either he found the most expensive cam woman in the history of cams, or he was just streaming hours and hours and hours.
Well, no, it wasn't all. That wasn't all from that. He took. He was getting money for others. He was also subscribing to Imperfect Foods.
I don't know. I
don't think he spent the whole 150. But how stupid are you that you use the church debit card to register for a site called Flirt for Free?
Yeah. Also, that it's called Flirt for Free and it's not. It's like, bless. Lorna said, what is it with these rich religious guys in porno?
Well, obviously, Lorna, you were not listening. He was lonely when his wife was at work.
They're like, sir, it sounds like you need a hobby that isn't playing the skin flute.
Oh, my God.
I could just see, now I'm just imagining him thinking, I'm a witnessing. It is good pandemic style witnessing. I'm just on Flirt for Free every day doing the Lord's work.
It just reminded me of those strippers for Jesus, that they felt like they accepted Jesus, but they kept their job so that they could win customers to the Lord. I mean,
yes, very that. All right, let's skip this next one. It's too much for me. We'll put it on Friday.
Is it too much effort?
Well, it's a lot to explain is the problem. We've reached the halfway point of our show. And if you enjoy the news and the nonsense that we provide you here and you're sitting on a pile of money with a little bit extra you don't need or a lot extra you don't need, you could send it to us as a tip via Venmo to @EmersonCollins or via PayPal to BeardCollinsShoresProductions@gmail.com. It's in the ticker below. It's not expected. You are not obligated, but it is greatly appreciated.
And we thank you when you do.
We do, very much.
It allows me to order imperfect foods.
As Travis just gave us a rousing review. You're watching the Dell and Emerson Show, hosted by the best hosts ever.
Well, I concur. Thank you, Travis.
We're going to put that on the marketing.
I know. Travis, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, as Bill said, pull out your church debit cards and send us your donations instead of the ladies at Flirt for Free.
That's right. We need to get one of those.
No, I kid. Those ladies work hard. If you're over there, pay them for their time.
That's
they don't
right.
actually want to be, as much as they may pretend it, they don't actually want to be talking to you.
Probably not.
Never once. It's like your waiter. Your waiter is not interested in whatever entertaining story you're telling them. They are humoring you. They want to know what you want and to get away from your table as fast as possible with a friendly interaction.
Yeah, they did. Well,
you're one of the. You and my father, both those people. And tell me about you. And what are you? And did you? Well, we just need to tell you, when they laugh at the end of that story, they are just humoring you.
Well, what about those people? We have a friend, and I'm not going to say who it is, but we have a friend who overuses the first name. They always like ask the waiter their name, and then they go, and Joe.
I do it every time. I'm one of those. I do. I do that. Ashley, thank you, Ashley. Ashley, could we get I absolutely am totally that person.
Oh, okay. I didn't mean to insult you.
I was not insulted. I wasn't the least bit bothered.
You were not the friend I was thinking of. So I've got two.
Well, I know, but I'm happy to admit my guilt on that one.
Well, I'll just have to take you out to a restaurant now that they're open in LA.
Lord, between the two of us, I'll say their name 100 times and you'll never let them leave the table.
Well,
be like, this is so short. You could just buy his DVD and watch the stand-up and bring us some bread. I'm gonna bring one of your DVDs to the meal.
Just hand it out. Just say, Dale, please shut up.
Just hand this to him and let him go back to serving some other people.
So, okay. Well, we skipped this big ass story, so I guess we're not too far off. Do you want to take that next story?
No.
You do it. Yeah. Okay. Well, I like the transition. Speaking of books, so we skipped the other story. So not speaking of books, but Simon & Schuster announced it will publish Joe Exotic's memoir called Tiger King, the official tell-all memoir, out in November. Someone tweeted for Joe, said, if you had a hard childhood, you need my book. If you are gay or struggling with your sexual identity, you need my book. If you want to know who had sex with who, you need my book. If you want to see proof of the front Jeff Lowe and James Garrickson used my zoo for their criminal activity, you need my book. If you want to reform justice, trust me, you need my book. It was reported he got a 6-figure deal, including the audio rights. I have so many questions. Are they just going to bring a microphone into the prison cell so he can record this?
Okay, I absolutely want them to, because I would listen to him read this book. I absolutely would.
I probably would too. I have to admit, I am fascinated by him. I just love that he thought Trump was going to pardon him.
And now he wants Joe Biden to do the same.
He had a limo waiting. Well, I bet he flips. I bet he's now a Democrat. So he told News, he said it's going to be a truth tell book. Everybody that's ever done anything good, it's going to be in there. And anybody that's got bones in your closet, you better look out.
As Jared added to his pitch, if you want to know how to go to prison for ordering a hit on someone you don't like, you need my book.
That's right.
Can y'all believe that was only a year ago? Joe Exotic was the first thing of the pandemic. And it feels like I've known who he was since before I came out of the closet. Like, I feel like in my brain now, he's the first homosexual I ever heard of.
Yeah, it was, he was not good for the gays.
I don't think he had a dramatic impact on the international picture at large of the homosexual society.
I was giving you the segue into the next story. Not good for the gays.
I didn't want it.
You're just in a nasty mood today.
I'm not. That was just silly.
Okay, it's like I will take away.
Are you still mad at me telling you not to interrupt me earlier?
I'm not mad at you at all.
Oh, I'm not in it. This is my nicest I've been in quite some time. I've been trying so hard the last 36 hours. A little snarky leaks out. Wait, which line of yours is that? Leaks out, leaked out. Is that Blues for Willitine? Leaked out? A little bit it did.
Isn't it awful and pathetic that I can't remember who said my lines now?
Well, you have a significant body of work. It is a random phrase.
Oh, now you're just trying to.
I feel like it's Dale Dickey in my head and Blues for Willitine. Leaked out a little bit. Oh, isn't it in the Mona Burke story? A little bit leaked out. It did.
I don't know. I'll think about it while you do this next one.
But yes, speaking of that lovely transition of terrible homosexuals, we talked Friday about Milo Yiannopoulos, and I didn't want to do the story because it's very likely his "I'm an ex-gay" was the introduction of some new grift to make money. Well, it is. He's now announced a conversion therapy clinic. He did an interview where he described it as reparative therapy to help other people go through the same journey that I'm on myself. He wants to put it in Florida, which does make sense. He says he's adopted a life of celibacy. Still got that husband, though. He said ex-gay is a silly expression, but it has the virtues of fitting in print headlines and enraging the opposition. Celibacy is a modest and achievable middle-term goal. He added tellingly, this has been the easiest thing to raise money for that I've ever done. There is an enormous demand for this among people who believe they've been led astray. It sounds silly to call it this, but you know, the gay establishment. And here's why I brought it up the other day, and here's why I tell the story, because this is the danger. It's not that people in our community will be fooled by this new grift that he has, but if he were to really open this establishment and people really consider taking youth or teen or struggling young adults, think my life is painful and maybe I should try to fix who I am, dangerous results really could happen from this man just trying to get free press and make money off unsuspecting people. So that is why I share him, not because he's actually worth our attention or time.
No, I'm glad. People need to be exposed like that. And if you're not a parent, when you say it's the easiest way I've ever raised money, I mean, you just like lay it out there. I am a grifter.
And there are so many of that particular kind of bigot Christians we talk about who will seize on this to hold it up to their bigot congregations, their bigot communities, to struggling, uninformed parents of LGBTQ young people and teens. They will hold him up as an example. They will engage with him sincerely. And that is dangerous to the most vulnerable of our young population. Absolutely.
So it's the same reason we keep doing Richard Grinnell stories. We have to expose these.
Well, it looks like that recall is he is going to be on his way to trying to run for California governor.
Well, they said they haven't announced the candidates, but they said there were several that had already filed. So it'd be interesting to see who does. And boy, our governor is on the campaign circuit. I mean, he was on CNN today with Jake Tapper. And anyway, here into more politics.
This next one, I was so happy for you because it was literally what you would do if you were in government. This would be you.
I love this story. I absolutely love this. And I love that he made a difference, and you'll see. So last week, the Vermont State House debated a bill to ban gay and trans panic. The bill is sponsored by Taylor Small, the state's first out trans legislator, and the vote was 120-3 with 3 Republican votes against it. Now, gay Republican Representative Paul Martin blasted out an email saying, I just want it to be known that I am absolutely disgusted by the nay votes on H128. As a member of the LGBT community, I feel you voted in favor of using the excuse of me being gay to kill me. Then he said the opponents of the bill are the true definition of a bigot. Then he went on, he didn't stop, y'all. He said, I don't need any responses telling me this is unprofessional because, frankly, I don't give a shit. I am ashamed to be associated with the 3 of you who voted nay. I am incredibly hurt. The next day, the final House vote was 144-1. So his rant got 2 people to change their mind. The lone holdout, Rodney Graham, y'all tweet him. Go find Rodney Graham, tweet him some hate. Said, to me, it's just a feel-good bill. These people, whether it's this group, whether it's Black Lives Matter, are seeking special privileges. Martin clapped back. He goes, I really believe that this is a nonpartisan bill, a human rights bill, and I feel very accomplished in bringing someone light to it in this caucus. Anyway, exposure of the bigots.
Guffawed when I read it, that he's the representative. He sat there were 3 votes, like it passed by a wide margin, and he went home and said, I still have something to say, and wrote a sermon that literally could have come out of your mouth. I thought, yep, Representative Shores.
And he's a Republican. Oh. Which is so great. I mean, in a way that if they're going to change the party, that's the difference between this amazing rhetoric that we just heard by Paul Martin. That's the difference between Richard Grinnell, Grift Grinnell.
Yeah. Well, it's like that story we did where he tried to say, look, there was a trans woman at CPAC and a bunch of bigoted conservative Christian types said, and we don't want her there. He got stuck in his own.
I don't even think they said her. They were even misgendering and shit.
Hoisted on his own petard, as they have said, as they used to say. But I do. And it's great to see a gay Republican holding his caucus and party accountable. Because, yeah, if you're going to be there, you got to be loud and ensure that if you're going to try to welcome members of our community into your world, there is a space for them when they get there. Stop.
Yeah.
This next story just made me giggle and also made me sad for the end of the world. Mechanical engineers are proposing a modern global insurance policy that is a repository of sperm and egg from 6.7 million Earth species on the moon underground. So they want to make space sperm.
And
they did a study called Lunar Pits and Lava Tubes for a Modern Ark submitted at a conference. Study author Jikan Tonga says the planet's instability would leave specimens vulnerable, and this would jumpstart a planetary exodus by creating this human seed vault. The Ark would then cryogenically preserve various species in case of a global disaster. Lava pits on the moon go down 80 to 100 meters, which Tonga says provide ready-made shelters from the surface of the moon. I did not know this. There is already one here on the Earth for plants. It is on an island in a Norwegian island in the Arctic Circle. It has 992,000 unique plant samples. Now, to get all this sperm into space, it would take 250 rocket launches to take 50 samples of each species for the 6.7 million target. Now, in comparison, it only took 40 rocket launches to build the International Space Station. So that's more than 6 times that just to get all the sperm to space.
Well, here's what I want to know. If there's a global disaster and everybody's wiped out, then this sperm bank and egg bank is up there in the moon. Who the fuck's going to go up there and put them all together in the test tubes or whatever you have to do? I wouldn't know how to do it if I was the last person.
If it was just us, that'd be it. We'd be
we'd be fucked.
Telling stories, eating that weird space ice cream you used to get from NASA, looking, going, well, there's a lot of sperm over there. That's weird.
I mean,
it's for the aliens. If the aliens arrive after we destroy this planet, like in WALL-E, where it's just covered in trash and we're all gone, maybe some aliens could give us a second shot.
You know what? If we wipe ourselves out, we don't deserve to come back. We do not. We're done, like the dinosaurs, done. Humans are done.
That's it. They're going to try to shoot us up, jack us off into space.
Okay, thank you for that segue. Speaking of jacking off, now just for fun, nowadays many people have the need or desire to share naked or near naked photos of themselves to lovers, potential lovers, or OnlyFans. Mark Hirsch is a professional photographer, and he's doing just that. He has the equipment, no pun intended, and lighting to get the best results and consult on images as necessary. He is in Southern California, and his rates are $150 an hour. Now, I want to ask you all a question. Would you get nudes made by someone professional?
I think this is so smart. So many people's nudes are just terrible. Either it's like cold lighting, it's a dirty bathroom mirror, there's clothes in the background. And unless if you're using that 10-second timer doing it solo, it's a lot of work to set a phone down and get it in the right spot, jump on the bed to get that whole pic.
Push that for 10, 9, 8. Oh, shit. Yeah, it's hard.
The amount of bad photos I take while trying to take my Speedo selfies is hysterical, much less trying to take a nude where you're like lounged and laid out in a way that's like with a come hither look. It reminds me of those boudoir photos. You used to see, I feel like TV shows have done it, women, and I'm turning 40, I got boudoir photos made.
Samantha pointing out Sex in the City. She did it.
Well,
So,
as Summer said, follow Maura Rose's advice and save them for when you're old.
well,
Yeah.
I had a photo shoot where I was with a bunch of naked guys and naked sort of reality. And I did a photo shoot where Rob LeBeau asked me to take my shirt off. There they are. There's some, you don't have to zoom in.
Oh, but it's fun.
Anyway, no penis in those shots, but
Well, no, so
it's fun. Those kind of photo shot. It was really fun. That one with all those hot guys.
It's well, there's something what I do love about it too, and a photographer, there's something fun about a photographer who does that and makes it a really fun experience for you. Because I also wonder if sometimes, look, if you're the kind of person who doesn't want to send nudes in a dating situation, certainly, but a thing for yourself to celebrate your body, to own the body you live in to whatever degree you're comfortable. Maybe it's only partially clothed, maybe it's a little bit. It doesn't have to be, penis pointing to the sky. Everyone's comfortability level, but I sort of loved the idea of doing a photo, a shoot in that way.
Yeah, I did. I had one commission, Matt, my friend Matt, who's running for public office. He had one commissioned for me, and I that was what you were talking about, though. I had to, it was during the pandemic. I had to get my iPhone, and I was really nervous about it. But I love the photo now. It's on my very gay wall of naked art.
Rob said, no, I don't take my own nudes, so why would I want anyone else to? John said, I'm staying fully clothed. I do not need my ass all over Twitter. Now, y'all, these could just be for your own personal section. Judy, I'm past the point. I don't want to cause harm to anyone's eyes. I feel like y'all are a delightful group of life experienced people here. There's also something to celebrating your body at whatever state and age you find yourself. I know we're all being cheeky and fun, but I hope we all do love what we see in the matter and whether in the mirror, whether it wrinkles or sags or shines or gray.
I don't love what I see all the time.
That is shocking.
I don't.
I know it's a thing you've talked about a lot over the years, but I feel like, but then you look at these photos though, and aren't you happy with that moment that was captured?
Well, it was interesting, like with the Rob LeBeau photo shoot. He said, I want you, he said, why don't we do something really fun? Oh yeah, Rob LeBeau. He said Palm Springs. And he said, he said, I have these suspenders. Why don't you throw them on? And I said, oh my God, Rob, I mean, I just turned 60. This was, I think I'm about to turn 60. I said, there is absolutely no way. He said, let me do it. And I will show them to you. And if you hate them, I will trash them. I promise. And I actually kind of love that picture that he with the that he shot.
And I feel like fancy ones might be a little too fancy, but Douglas is ready for his close-up, Mr. DeVille. John said there are hot photos, Del, but I don't have that in me unless the photographer director is really talented verbally.
Oh,
I mean, I'm sure that can happen as well. Danielle, I will celebrate my body the day I discover a magic potion to transform it to my liking. And I feel like, that's sort of the real conversation here, right? Is it's not about whether you do or don't want to take nudes to turn into an 8x10 to put on your wall, but I think it does bring up a conversation for us all to remember to be loving and forgiving of the body we live in and the life experience it shows.
I'm sure that it exists, but I've often thought that it would be a very lucrative business to, because I always think I shoot reels for actors in Dallas to shoot for couples to document like their hot sex and just for them. And then you turn over the edited to them. And I bet people could make money doing that, like a wedding photographer, but like you make your own porn.
I feel like, though, what you would discover is because real sex is very not like porn sex. There's so many angles and things they do in porn to make it look aesthetically pleasing that in real life, the amount of faces I think most of us make that are not close-up ready, but they don't matter because we're enjoying ourselves in the moment. I feel like I would just end up with a comedy reel more than a sexy time. You need real good music and some good sleight of hand on that editing.
Yeah. Well, I years ago I had lunch with Randy. I think his last name is Whiting. Whiting, who was Randy Blue. He was, he loved Sordid Lives. And I said, please, it's on my bucket list. It's my fantasy. I just want to go to a porn shoot. And he said, oh, you would be so disappointed. He said, it's just like it's very, very angle driven, and you have to stop and start. And
because I feel like if you take it, you've directed intimate scenes in lots of your work. Porn's no different, except there's insertion, which just is even more awkward when you got to stop, remove, reframe,
and there've been when I shoot, I remember people go, oh, that was so hot. That scene was so hot. And, Sordid Lives, the series. And I go, it wasn't hot for us to shoot.
Yeah. You're like, wait,
put your leg here.
A little further, arch there. Right. Okay. Right there. Now say the line. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Leanne said, there are not enough filters for me at this point in my life for nudes. And Ken makes a good point. OnlyFans has changed a lot with people filming their own stuff. Yes. Yeah. Now that it's more accessible to create your own experiences. But I just thought it was fun.
I like the story. Thank you.
Little chat here. Well, that's why I wanted to get rid of that other one. So I'm trying, as much as I snip on occasion, I'm trying to give us all the space to enjoy each other here. Well, y'all appreciate. Dell had to drive by the other day to get me to sign something, and I hope y'all I enjoy this community here so much. I have really enjoyed this year being even more honest and open about my own journeys and struggles with you all than I even have been historically. I've kept things for myself and my friends. Dell got here and I needed to sign these things, and I said I just needed to check in one more time. I needed to check on his care and our working relationship.
Oh, he's very sweet.
Because we keep saying this 1 year anniversary is happening for everybody on the long hauler pandemic mental health stuff, and I am constantly reminding myself to be forgiving of myself and to be generous at the way other people irritate me. Right? I'm short. They are experiencing the same thing. We to avoid conflicts that come out of everyone being higher, more sensitive.
Yeah, I found myself just being a little it's not like I've been snippy or anything. I don't think I've been overly snippy, but I don't think I've been in the best mood. And I feel like it's not just the pandemic, it's the fact that I'm about to have this major surgery where I have to have a whole shoulder replaced. Yeah. And I just dread it. I just dread so much the recovery because, I like to go. I like to keep going and doing my things. And I start getting my head about no exercise for all this time. And but anyway, trying to stay up.
Yes, but it's new and every day, and it can be random. And what I'm also really thinking about is trying to take that attitude back into normal life or whatever new life becomes as we move back into the world, to keep that, considering other people's state of mind and their point of view and having more grace for people. Leanne said, I've honestly appreciated you both over the last year. You have helped me with my mental health. I love you both for that. Thank you. I have enjoyed this time. And one more fun story. For next year, next January, when life returns anew, there's just been an announcement of a new cruise, January 9th through 16th, 2022, as the first Legends of Drag cruise starring Jackie Beat, Lady Bunny, Barla Jean Merman, and Miss Coco Peru, emceed by Frank DeCaro. I mean, 5 iconic queens. It's a Holland America 5-star ship, the Koningsdam, a Mexico cruise, Puerto Vallarta, Cabo, Mazatlan, and more. Each of these 4 long-reigning entertainer queens will headline their own show in the theater, and there'll be drag panels, meet and greets, book signings, and all the usual gay cruise trappings. Lady Bunny said, this cast, it's so rare that I get called the pretty one. Also, I don't normally perform on boats except for the time I borrowed RuPaul's shoes. So, I mean, truly 4 distinct, incredibly iconic stage performer, wit, actors. I mean, 4 of our very best all in one place. Can you
I have
imagine?
to say, I know every one of them, and I think that I want to like check it out. That might be a fun weekend. Is it a week or is it like
Yeah, it's one
7?
of those like 7-day, and it's out of San Diego.
Yeah, it's close by. Yeah. Oh God, I
But I'm
love them
curious.
all.
You know, at the beginning of this, right, there was that cruise ship that docked in San Diego, you know, that like they had to make everyone stay on the boat for a while and everything. Will people be interested in going on cruises? People were worried about the cruise industry returning. Is anybody watching think, oh, I would go on that, or, ooh, I need to give it a while? To me, if I'm back out in the world, there's no difference getting on a boat than there is going to the beach or going to a
Well,
concert.
if you're vaccinated, I mean, I feel like that's going to help a whole lot. And I've been getting a lot of promos lately for Atlantis and for Pied Piper. So everybody's going back into business, and good for them. That where the economy needs real stimulus, real stimulus.
Yes. I know. I am still going to be, yes, until I get my vaccine in the by the May 1st group. But after that, I will probably honestly be sort of still tentative about larger gatherings for a while. I don't know that we need to be scary worried about variants and whatnot. But I think I will let other people test big events for a little while before I do. Restaurant patios, small gatherings with people I love and haven't seen in a year. Yes, but I don't know that I'm going to be at a giant venue for a little while longer.
Yeah, I don't know either. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I do feel and I have I will say right now publicly that I did get my first vaccine. I was so fortunate that Northwestern State University in Louisiana hired me once again. And here in California, if you're an educator and you're going to work in 2021, and I worked last year without during COVID, that was very scary. So I got my first one, a Pfizer, and I get my second one very soon. So I'm feeling, when I go out, I just feel a little more confident. I feel a little less frightened, if you will.
John said, I'm masking until Dr. Fauci says it's safe. And also the herd immunity thing really matters, right? I meant to put this in and forgot, but I saw a new study that said more than 60% of Republican men who have not been vaccinated already say they will refuse the shot. 47% of people who supported Trump in 2020 who have not yet been vaccinated say they will not get the shot. It's going to matter for the evolution of this disease and the possibility of more dangerous or more virulent strains going forward, that we get enough immunity, and also to specifically protect the people in our communities who can't get the vaccine because of underlying conditions. Cancer patients getting chemo, people who have compromised immune systems for various reasons also need all of us to get vaccinated, so we're not communicating it among each other and not having symptoms and then giving it to them. So it isn't just our own personal safety, but it's the point of doing it.
Oh, what's going on at the door, Gracie Louise? Yes. Well, I feel like it's so important for us to keep mentioning this and telling our own stories. And yeah, thank you all for sharing. I see so many of you have gotten vaccinated, and it's like Trump created so much of this resistance to getting vaccinated, yet secretly, hypocrite that he was, with Melania, without getting it on film or anything, secretly got vaccinated. So he can just continue to go fuck it.
Think about how many more people's health would be protected if he had just shown a single photo of him with that shot in his arm. He got it anyway. Like, it would help save people's lives.
Yep. So, well, anyway, this has been fun, y'all. Always fun to talk and chat and jaw.
Yeah. Here at the end, one more time, if you want to send us a tip.
It leaked out. Yes, it was in Blues for Willadine. It was about when she was talking about the club. It was about the club.
They talk.
The laughter would leak out. Yeah, which is being a bit of a racist.
A little bit of racism. It'd leak out from the back. A microaggression, if you will. But if you enjoy,
why that just came to me. Right.
I'm so glad it did. You can send us a tip on Venmo to @EmersonCollins or on PayPal to beardcollinshoresproductions@gmail.com. Thank you to Art, Gregory, and Summer and John for your contributions.
Thank you.
We greatly appreciate it. And it's only Tuesday, or it is Tuesday. We'll see you on Friday.
All right. We'll see you Friday. Y'all have a good week, the rest of your week. Love you guys.
Take care of yourself.